Hello, 17 Karat K-pop listener. You're listening to an episode coming out during a hiatus week, meaning that if some massive news in the world of K-pop dropped, it probably was after recording time if it's not mentioned here. I will be back with brand new content in early January. New special interviews, new exciting discography deep dives, headlines, and so much more. Lots of surprises up my sleeve. So the next week or so, enjoy these episodes recorded quite a while ago, and subscribe for brand new writing as you await new episodes of the show for free at howtostan.substack.com. Enjoy! Hi everybody, welcome back to 17 Karat K-pop. Today is the final news roundup episode of 2021. And a quick PSA, I've been busy with interviews lately, so be sure to check those out, howtostan.substack.com, for my talk with Japanese artist Mishima Soshi, the Korean artist Nahi, the girl group Beauty Box, and boy group E-Last. Let's get into topic 1. The Mamas featured some really incredible performances. There are 5 big favorites from the night I want to share. My 5 highlights. First of all, the opening number felt like the dawn of a new era. And it was a big 4th gen, plus I guess Stray Kids is more end of 3rd gen, but you know what I mean. The next generation of K-pop groups really just taking the stage by storm. It felt like a changing of the guard moment, especially to have someone who's been in the business so long, Lee Hyori, hosting the night. But then the opening number went to Yeji from ITZY, Yeonjun from TXT, Karina from aespa, Heesoon from ENHYPEN, Wooyeon from ATEEZ, and Hyunjin from Stray Kids. So the big opening number with next-gen superstars. Number 2 would be the fashion. My favorite looks of the night would have to be aespa's Karina, with that dip-dyed blue hair, the white shirt and then the red plaid dual-length skirt, the fishnet tights and then the knee-high boots. That was so cute. I also just adored some of the looks from Street Woman Fighter stars. The white dress with the leather platform boots, the metallic gold maxi skirt, wowzers. Number 3, the Wanna One reunion. Wanna One came together. They sang Spring Breeze as an intro to Energetic, and to see them all on stage after a year of really thriving as artists outside of the group, it was very touching to see each of them. And honestly, I really thought this was not going to happen. Not even just the Mamas, ever. Especially because of that success. Like with IOI, things had progressed reunion-wise to the point where they were ready to film a new video and a comeback album. The plans fell apart at the last minute, and probably because, honestly, after you do a short-lived group project of sorts, and then spread your wings, and start doing a solo thing that's successful, why would you want to go back to doing the thing that was your stepping stone? So I still am very skeptical of an IOI reunion ever. But never say never now, because I thought the same about Wanna One, and they made it work no matter what, even if COVID almost stopped them, because they were a close contact to a COVID case, but they luckily did all test negative and still got to film a performance as a group, so even that couldn't stop them. And that was really nice to know. I like the reassurance when they're on stage together because, every group says when they're asked, oh, do you still keep in touch with your old bandmates? I'm sure they all say, oh yeah, of course, because what are you gonna say? No, I hate their guts? You just don't say that in an interview. But these guys, they were like that saying, of course, we still keep in touch. We have a group chat and stuff still. But now I actually kind of believe it. Maybe they're a rare exception, and the members actually really do root for each other still, which made the reunion all the more genuinely emotional. It felt like a very authentically sentimental experience for them and the fans. Number 4, all things NCT about the night. The sticker remix was everything. Shotaro continues to amaze me by how cute he is, but also how just energetic and happy to be there he looks. He always looks like he won the lotto. Like he is so happy to be there. Like he's really living his dream still. Never just going through the motions. And I really hope that youthful spark, that passion stays with him. Plus, there was this new orchestral arrangement for Vampire that was as pretty as the settings in that scene, and Taeyeon's eyeshadow, and their makeup, jackets. So beautiful. Honestly, one of the best parts of the Mamas to me is the remixes of songs. but then I just want to put the remixes on loop, get some studio versions of them. Would love a Mama soundtrack to drop on streaming. And number 5, I just had to put all other performances. Okay, a couple really did catch my eye though, but I did want NCT to get their own category because bias. But with ITZY, they had one of my favorites of the night, mixing Loco and Mafia in the Morning. Ho Sun Tae from Squid Game played this role of a boss, and Roojin played the role of the person whose boss is that guy. And he's instructing her to kill ITZY. And midway through the performance, they have this scene where she is like an informant exposed that she was working for them the whole time. Not him, so she turns on him. There's this dramatic showdown. It was really quite cinematic. Also really dramatic was Stray Kids. Their performance for Cheese and Thunderous. So more than once, they started a song looking like they had literally crashed into the scene with a spacecraft or a car, something. And actually for Cheese it looked like a vehicle had just overturned, but then Felix stepped out of it. Like you thought you'd seen the last of me. There were so many masked backup dancers, like in theater masks, and it was really, really interesting. And I really liked aespa's performance. One detail that really stood out to me was how one of their virtual avatars showed up on the screen and used this AR magic to conjure up what looked like this popping out at you 3D portal of sorts. And the members actually, the actual physical aespa members, then walked onto the stage and made their entrance by walking out of that portal, conjured up by the virtual character. It was very cool. It felt like a teaser into what their future live shows can look like. That mixing of some fun virtual things that come to life with them. The opening number, Fashion, 101 Reunion, NCT, and some other performers. Another thing I liked about the night was how right I was. Because only like 3 or 4 out of all the nominations, my predictions did not get right. I am so proud of myself for my predictions. Let's revisit them, shall we? For Best New Artist, I predicted ENHYPEN and aespa. The winners? ENHYPEN and aespa. For Best Male Artist and Female Artist, I predicted Kang Daniel and IU, maybe a member of Blackpink solo. Who won? Baekhyun and IU. For Best Male Group, BTS won. I did not make a prediction. Best Female Group, I predicted it would be ITZY or Twice, and it was Twice. Best Dance Performance, I predicted it would be aespa, ITZY, or Twice, and then for the male category, BTS or 17, it was BTS and aespa with Next Level. For Best Solo Dance Performance, I said it was going to be a solo Blackpink member or Somi. And it was Rosé from Blackpink with On the Ground, which honestly is a bit surprising. Best Vocal Performance, I predicted IU would win. The winner? IU. For Best Band Performance, I predicted the winner would be Day6 or Janabi. It was Janabi. For Best Hip Hop and Urban, I predicted Mino, Jessie, or Changmo. It was actually Ash Island, which is beyond fine with me. But I didn't expect him to win. So congrats to him. For Best OST, I said the winner would be Love Day, but it turned out to be I Like You. For Best Collaboration, I predicted Coldplay and BTS would win. The winner was actually Akmu featuring IU for Naka. And for Worldwide Fans' Choice Top 10, I made no predictions. The winners were BTS, ENHYPEN, NCT 127, Lisa, NCT Dream, 17, Stray Kids, TXT, Treasure, and Twice. Interesting that Lisa's in there, but not Rosé. While we're in revisiting prediction mode, let's look back at the things I predicted for the year in 2021 for K-pop. Let's start with the artists I said would have a huge year and see if it panned out. I said Ace would have a huge year. I'd say they did. New TV cameos and appearances, new music, new collabs. I said CIX would have a good year. I would say so still. When OK Prologue came out, they nearly tripled those first week album sales. They also kept up this world building that is so important to keep your fans interested, with Tesseract and Wave, their videos continue to tell stories. I said Everglow would have a big year. They definitely did. 2 of their videos surpassed 100 million views this year. They performed at Virtual KCON, they had their first ever online concert this summer. Pirate turned out to be a last-minute entry on a lot of best K-pop songs of 2021 lists. They are thriving. I said aespa would have a huge year. Heck yes, they did. They became Givenchy models. They performed at the Macy's Parade. They became the first K-pop act to ever be on the Nick Cannon Show. They were also on The Daily Show, The Kelly Clarkson Show. Plus Savage surpassed 50 million views. Next Level had 50 million in 3 days. It's wild. And they signed with CAA too, for representation outside of music, so their career keeps blossoming. I predicted Alexa would have a big year. She sure did. She sang the national anthem at a Dodgers game. She hosted the K-pop Superfest livestream. She was an ambassador and model at the 2021 Gwangju Design Festival. She had a meet and greet in California, a successful comeback with Reviver. She was really killing it. And I said NCT and 17 would have big years. Well, duh. And I went into all the reasons why on NCT Talk, 17 Talk, and in future installments in those series when they will surely have another successful year. I made a lot of Blackpink predictions for the year. First of all, I thought Lisa or Rosé would get to tease their solo debut during their virtual concert that was near the start of the year. Then I predicted one of them would debut solo by March, and the other by April, and then the group by May. Yeah, no. New rule of thumb, YG Entertainment related predictions for artist releases. Take your prediction and add like 6 months and you should be good. So I don't even know if I want to predict Jisoo's solo debut date. I'll throw out there May or June of 2022, but it's gonna be a while. And that Blackpink prediction I did get right, when I said that Jisoo would not have a solo debut yet, and it would be pushed back so she could go film a drama or something. Turns out, I was right about her going off to film a drama, so I predicted they would get tons more modeling gigs, brand endorsements, and heck yes they did. I also predicted they would get into some metaverse promo of some kind. More digital promo, like their Zepeto thing. And they did, with the Animal Crossing level, which was so cute and very extensive. I was very impressed, actually. They had the Battlegrounds game, and like I said in an earlier episode of the show, their virtual concert was really first of its kind. Using some technology that they had actually been the first to try out for Coachella, too. It was that kind of thing, where they got first dibs. So, a very historic year for them, in the metaverse and offline. Lastly, I predicted they would collaborate more, with more famous artists. I threw out some names, Zara Larsson, Ariana Grande. That stuff didn't happen, but they did do more collabs. Their collab with Lady Gaga got a Sour Candy remix. Plus, Lisa worked with DJ Snake, Ozuna, and Megan Thee Stallion on the song SG. I bet they'll collaborate more next year. More than that. I predicted GOT7 would disband. They kind of did. They did that thing where they say, no, we're still GOT7 together, but we'll see. They're really thriving as soloists, and like I just said, that can hinder a reunion. I actually did put on my list of predictions for the year that IOI and 101 specifically would be groups with no reunion. Glad to be proven partly wrong on that. Actually, I wouldn't rule out a GOT7 reunion at an award show or something as soon as next year. But then going back, I think, to their solo stuff. And I predicted disbandments would keep getting more frequent. Just because we're at this industry saturation point, plus the financial strain of not getting to tour, bring in tour revenue, that's especially burdensome for underdog companies. And I think I was pretty much right. So many disbandments in 2021. There was Enoi, Black Six, Very Good, Celia, 100%, IZ*ONE, G-Friend, CLC, Voiceper, Lovelies, 7 O'Clock, BOY, Hotshot, One Team, I could go on and on. I predicted more artists than ever would turn to YouTubing, podcasting, or something similar. more social media freedom. That definitely panned out. So many artists started their own channels. Kwasa, Jenny, Rosé, Brave Girl started a new channel. JB, Taeyeon joined SoundCloud. Lots more band members got solo Instagram accounts, joined TikTok, joined Snapchat. Lots happened in terms of more social media this year. I predicted BTS would win a Grammy. Very, very disappointed that I was wrong. I don't want to jinx anything by predicting next year, but I will say, I think the odds are actually in their favor this time. I really think this was meant to be a build-up. Maybe meant as in a cosmic fate thing, maybe just a build-up as in a behind-the-scenes orchestrated, calculated thing, but I do think it's going to happen for them. And it was meant to, in whatever way meant to means, be theirs for the taking after several rejections. If not this year, in 2023 or 24, I think they're destined for a Grammy. I predicted there would be no major dispatch drop, their typical January surprise revelation about who's dating who. And that was true, they didn't have that this year. But we did get some interesting realizations, like a reminder that Momo from Twice was dating Heechul from Super Junior. I'd totally forgotten about that until they broke up. And it was revealed G-Dragon and Jennie had been dating. That was interesting too. I predicted KCON would stay totally virtual. That definitely happened. I predicted there would not be 2021 tour announcements, but there would be lots of end of 2021 announcements for 2022 dates. Yes and kind of yes, because actually Very Very's already, as I record this, doing their US tour stuff, or they just ended it, but this month. I forgot how quickly K-pop tours show up after tickets go on sale. You get like a month and then they're there. But for the most part, yeah, there's been a barrage of announcements for 2022 shows. Some we've talked about already, ATEEZ Twice. Some we're going to talk about in a little bit in this episode. Lastly, I predicted any buzz about T-pop or C-pop really having a moment globally would not happen yet. I was quite right about that. And actually, just recently, JYP Entertainment announced their Thailand-centered business is shutting its doors, period. More info TBA about that. Alright, get out a pen and paper if you really wanna be that person who calls me out in a year's time for getting stuff wrong. But here are my predictions for 2022. A couple. I'm gonna save the rest for after 2022's already started for an upcoming episode of the show, but a few I just want to put out there right now. First of all, tour dates. Now who knows, by the time this episode comes out, there could be a tour announcement. I promise you, if 17 drops tour dates, I didn't predict that just because they did. I didn't know that at this recording time. But I really think very soon they will announce tour dates. I really have a hunch 17, if any group I can predict will tour in 2022, I'm betting on 17. I really think it's happening. All the Western promo push, solo projects, future solo stages they've been creating. I think they've been working and brainstorming for a big tour. Very much hoping it involves the US sooner rather than later. When they do make the news, feel free to tag them and say, hey, go promote your tour on 17 Karat K-pop. Feel free to also nag NCT 127 about that, because I bet their tour dates for the USA are coming really soon. And they should, I'm so excited, prematurely. I would also expect some other big JYP tour, probably ITZY, maybe Stray Kids, but I think they're working on something. I have more predictions, but I'll save them. Tour-wise, I will. But now I also want to put out there my artists to watch next year, who I think will have a huge year. First of all, obviously Blackpink, BTS, 17, NCT, the usual, Twice. You gotta keep your eye on aespa, Wheein as a soloist, MCND, EJ, Billy, the yet-to-debut girl groups from HYBE and JYP that are already getting tons of buzz. I would also definitely keep your eyes on TRIBE and Lightsum. Truly, the numbers are just astounding already when it comes to album sales, music video views, etc. Plus, TRIBE has that global representation already, so definitely keep an eye on them. And P1 Harmony. And I'll, again, elaborate more on each of those predictions, those artists, why I think they're primed for a huge year next year, in an upcoming episode about what to expect from 2022. And speaking of 2022, let's get to that tour news. First of all, Ravi and Friends are going on tour in 2022 in March, so that's a fun spring break plan. Lots more info TBA, but what we know so far is you should stay updated through Studio PAV's site. And it will feature Ravi, Zyto, Nafla, and Cold Bay. Second of all, tickets are on sale now, so I apologize this episode is late for you to get tickets, but hopefully they're still available via Powerhouse Live's site. Blitzers is making their USA tour debut. They start their tour in LA Saturday, February 3rd, and they end in Chicago, February 17th. They're also going to San Francisco, Seattle, Atlanta, and New York. Meanwhile, due to popular demand and selling out insanely fast, 2 new Twice shows were added to their USA tour. Another one in LA at the Forum, February 15th, and in New York at the UBS Arena, February 27th. But due to changes in hours and locations, access to buildings, due to new pandemic-related restrictions, their show in Seoul, set for December 24th, has been canceled. Just the 24th, though. So the ones right after it are still ongoing, so I don't know, it's a weird time for restrictions. Some feel a little arbitrary. The virus doesn't know it's the 25th and not the 24th or whatever. As we look at the year in review, let's look at, once again, how K-pop dominated Twitter. Here's the top 10 most tweeted about K-pop acts of 2021. 10th place Stray Kids, 9 ATEEZ, 8 TXT, 7 17, 6 ENHYPEN, 5 Treasure, 4 Blackpink, 3 EXO, 2 NCT, 1 BTS. It's interesting to compare this to 2020. The top 3 were BTS, EXO, and GOT7. This year, BTS, NCT, EXO. Blackpink still at 4th. Last year, actually, NCT 127 and NCT Dream were on the list as separate acts. This year it just says NCT, so they combined them. Treasure's new, ENHYPEN's new, 17 was 7th place last year too. TXT is new, they seem to have replaced twice on this list. ATEEZ is new to the list, and Stray Kids is 10th place for now 2 years in a row. The most retweeted tweet of the year, today in Restoring Faith in Humanity, is BTS's message tagged #StopAsianHate, where they issued a statement about their own experiences with anti-Asian hate and their desire to create a better, nicer world. It got over 1 million retweets. And not as equally deep and touching, but still delightful. The second most liked tweet of the year in the world on Twitter. A Jungkook kissy face selfie. Hope he starts this year off with another one. And it honestly could probably get most liked status. Of course, during an election year, Biden got the most likes on a post, but in a year without a new president, probably the most liked tweet could be a BTS one. And the most used hashtag on Twitter this year, #BTS, which granted also stands for behind the scenes. This makes me feel like when I see the song Peaches by Justin Bieber has a new record, I'm just thinking, oh, Kai's doing really well on the charts today, just because I want to, so I'll think about that every time I think about #BTS. Anyway, now enters the disappointment chapter of the episode, starting with Everglow being accused of stealing an outfit. A member of Everglow wore this neon green and black corset in the Pirate music video. The designer issued a message on Instagram expressing disappointment and confusion that this corset ended up with her, because it was custom made for Jolin Tsai, my C-pop queen full disclosure, from her Ugly Beauty tour. She said, quote, "We noticed that a windowsill corset was featured. It was never supposed to happen because the corset was a custom piece I created for Jolin Tsai's Ugly Beauty tour in 2020. Side note, yes, she got to tour in 2020 because Taiwan nipped this in the bud. I mean, the variants were another thing, but in 2020 they really were just doing the best containing this. Anyway, I digress. Plagiarism is simply wrong and unacceptable. we'd hope to take down and delete all the visuals and shots where the garment is featured, and just wanted to speak up and hold the company and their styling team accountable for what has been done, and have the right actions taking place as soon as possible." Unquote. As of recording time, no response from Everglow or their company. But keep your eyes out, because if you watch the pirate video someday and don't see that corset, they digitally edited it out. Or if the video suddenly has a scene taken out, or is totally taken down from the internet, that's why. I have a feeling either they don't know about this claim, genuinely, not having a fake ignorance, because C-pop Instagram is not exactly hugely popular. If you're outside of my Jill and Sai Stan group of like 3 people, you may not even be aware this happened, so honestly they may not know. Although their company does also host C-pop artists, so anyway. Before I jump into rapid fire headlines, I want to touch on something I wrote about on my site and my Substack recently. That's where I put my Monsta X The Dreaming movie review, and I want to just emphasize some of the points from that piece if you didn't read it. This is your TLDR moment. First of all, I have to say, subjectively, I did enjoy it. I did like it, it was fun, I'm glad I saw it. It's always delightful to see some of my favorite people in the world on the big screen. Very cute, charming, likable as always, great performers. Objectively, I have to be really real with you guys, because I don't want to make you ever think I'm just BSing a review of something. I have to be honest, this was a really bad movie. It just was, and I really wanted to love it. But even just format-wise, the decisions were just, it was very poorly made in terms of deciding what order to put scenes in. It felt very thrown together last minute, which it might have been, but there's an artful way to mask the fact it was put together last minute. I mean, they would have an interview segment transition to behind-the-scenes footage, to the concert itself, and back again, but not in chronological order. I mean, the film starts out where it feels like it's going to go on a chronological journey. You see some audition footage of them. They're reflecting on their debut. Then all of a sudden, the next scene is when they're performing Gambler, one of their hits from this year. At first I was like, did I fall asleep or something? We're already here? What is happening? And it kept going back and forth like that. It just did not have a format. It felt so thrown together. Plus there were some audio issues, but I think that was more theater specific, so I'm not going to dwell on that, but the sound quality, the feedback was just weird from the location I saw it in. Maybe because I saw a regular show, not like a 4D one, maybe the sound quality is configured for 4D experiences and sounds weird when it's not. I don't know, but that was another thing that bugged me. And also just the missed opportunities, because I do feel like a movie like this is a great opportunity for groups to expand their audience. You have people who just decide to bring their date, or their parents, or their kids, or their friends, whoever. Maybe if you don't convince them to check out their music, you can convince them to go spend a day with you at that movie. You can rope in new fans who walk away from the movie feeling impressed and amazed and ready to check out their music, impressed with who they are as people beyond the music too. It can be a very exciting platform. And I just feel like they squandered that opportunity, because if you were one of those people just tagging along, knowing nothing about the group, you would walk out of the theater afterwards still knowing nothing about the group. And you could have. And that's why I wrote such a critical review on my Substack about this. Because I know their story, I've followed them, I followed their No Mercy days and beyond. They've always been in my top 5 of all-time groups. I'm a huge Monbebe, so I say this from a place of love and respect. There is a way to critique a movie without just calling it trash and moving on. I tried to be as tasteful as possible and fair in my review of it. There's a way to critique the movie without critiquing the artists themselves, and that's what I really try to do. So I don't want people to think I wrote that and I just don't understand Monbebe, or I'm coming for Monsta X. Obviously it's not like that. And because I followed their career so long, I know they have a really interesting story. Maybe I'll make my own audio version of a true documentary for their story, because it really is a powerful story about really having this underground status in the industry, going through brutal reality show training years, opening up about mental illness on a global stage, some really huge things they've done for the industry and a great example they've set. But you would know none of that if you watch this movie. You would have no idea they have such an interesting, wonderful, brave, insightful, thought-provoking story. You just learn nothing. I got the sense that the interviewer, who was off-screen, was asking them the most blah questions, frankly. It felt like every other question they were asked was just, what do you think your fans will like about this? Or what's your message to fans again? And it's like, look, I love hearing that they love us as much as the next person. But can we change topics at some point? Because I want to know more about their story and share that story with others, and this just didn't do so much of what it could have done. And for those of you who are saying they probably don't want to address some of that stuff, the training years that they describe as hellish and all that, they don't want to revisit that stuff. I get that. But then maybe, honestly, don't make a documentary. If you don't want to reflect on the past, maybe you should try a solely concert movie format or some other format, because documentaries are for looking at the past, even if it's traumatic. And if that's not something you want to do, I respect that, but then maybe a documentary is not the right form for your story. More on my Substack, but that's my take on the show. I was very disappointed, frankly, not in them at all, but in the editorial decisions. Let's get to those rapid-fire headlines now, starting with a ton of 17-related news. 17 Spotify Wrapped data is here. This year, they reached listeners in 176 countries. Over 11.2 million listeners who spent time streaming them for over 25 million hours. The group performed this really cool new version of Crush and a new dance intro for Ready to Love for the KBS Song Festival. They appeared on Mezamashi TV, this CDTV Christmas special. Their new Power of Love single has sold over 107,000 copies. Woozi announced he's planning to release his debut solo mixtape January 2022. Going 17 is going on a much-deserved break. They'll be back with more February 9th. So January, Woozi mixtape. February, new season of Going 17. 2022 is already, for Carrots, looking really exciting. The 8 is the new face of the makeup brand Into You. He also has a new cover out for Power Circles magazine. Hoshi recently received a plaque of appreciation for his donations. This wellness center director said some really nice words about him at the ceremony, and then Hoshi said in part, quote, "As much as I'm loved by the public, I always think about how to try to repay and give back. I want to help those who have difficulties due to the pandemic so they do not lose hope," unquote. Lastly, the group won as part of the Worldwide Fans' Choice Top 10 at the Mamas this year. Speaking of the Mamas, there was going to be a special Show Me the Money 10th anniversary performance at the Mamas, but due to COVID, a staff member tested positive and they could not. Kepler's Xiaoteng and Mashiro both have COVID, so the debut of that group is once again postponed. The SMCU Express is coming, the SM Town New Year's Eve show, another one this year. There's actually a 3-part present here. One is this in-person SM Town experience, December 30th, on the first floor of their headquarters. As of recording time, COVID has not stopped that from being in person. Second present, SM Entertainment Artist collaborative winter album, out December 27th. And the third surprise is that online free New Year's Eve show. And that action kicks off 1 p.m. Korean Standard Time, which is 11 p.m. the night before. So 1 p.m. the night of January 1st, actually 11 p.m. December 31st in the USA, in Chicago at least, 11 p.m. Central. And there is going to be a Weverse Con online New Year's Eve event. It was going to have an offline component. Not sure if that's still happening. I think it is, but very much changing by the minute, possibly. But due to COVID changes to timing, the actual event starts December 31st at 5:30 instead of 9. But the event will run the same amount of time. So maybe the venue just has a new COVID-related curfew. I don't know, but that was the time change to 5:30 Korean time. You can check out all the action through Hybe's YouTube channel to see 17, TXT, ENHYPEN, From Us 9, Lee Hyun, Bumzu, Dawn, and Justin Bieber. Remember, Ithaca Holdings merged with their company Hybe. The best-selling K-pop albums in America are official now for 2021. And actually, only one in the top 5 was released this year. The rest are 2020 albums. 5th place best-selling for this year, still Blackpink with the album. 4th place, NCT Resonance Part 1. 3rd, TXT Chaos Chapter Freeze. 2, BTS Map of the Soul 7. 1, BTS with B. Monsta X just performed One Day on Good Morning America. The girl group Tribe sings the new theme song for We Bare Bears spin-off show, We Baby Bears, that premieres with a 10-episode marathon January 1st, 2022 on Cartoon Network. Super cute. Remember, this is the cartoon show from the makers of We Bare Bears. The show Monsta X had the special guest star episode for, and they really did right by them. Put a lot of details in there, did their homework about Monsta X first. So I have good confidence that We Baby Bears is going to be super cute and worthwhile as well. I don't care how old you are, go enjoy it. Voiceper have announced they are officially disbanding after having spent 6 years together. Blackpink has a new collection out with Casetify. Rosé has her own new sleep story, as they're called, via the Calm app. IVE have already announced their fandom name, Dive. The current MCs of the show are stepping down, so it's time for a new group of MCs. In more TV news, Queendom is officially returning for a 2nd season, and a male version of the show, Girls Planet 999, is officially on the way. BTS won 3 People's Choice Awards this year. Group of 2021, Music Video of 2021, and Song of 2021. Plus Butter was named the Song of the Year by Consequence of Sound. And BTS reached number 6 on Billboard's Greatest Pop Stars of 2021 list. Also, Butter was the 7th, there's that special number, there's again, 7th most Googled Song of the Year. Guess what was number 1 this year? You will not guess. In 2021, the most Googled song is apparently Poker Face by Lady Gaga. Either that, or a ton of people decided to Google Lady Gaga Poker Face, not for the song, but because they literally are dying to see her poker face. Either way, not what I expected. Love Song by TXT was named the best song of the year by Tidal. Japanese artist Yoasobi's song, Monster, reached number 5 on Time magazine's list of the best songs of the year. 2 K-pop additions on NME's list of best songs of the year, aespa's Next Level at number 45, and BTS's Butter at number 10. JB has officially entered the Green Noble Club because he passed the threshold of, over his lifetime, donating over 100 million won. He actually sold merch with his own photography on it, and then donated some of the proceeds to help underprivileged families. Ji-yoon from Weekly is coming back from a health hiatus, but meanwhile, Jang Yuri from Miss9 will not participate in performances for now. She was dealing with muscle pain, dizziness, had to go to the hospital. And Rocky from Astro had to sit out the KBS Songfest performance due to an injury as well. Nana, from After School, renewed her contract with Pledis for a 3rd time. Jessica Junn's book Shine officially has a sequel on the way, Bright, out May 10th, 2022. BTS joined Coldplay via hologram for an interesting performance of My Universe on The Voice season finale. 2PM's Chansun is getting married and going to be a dad, and at this time he also announced he will not be renewing his contract with JYP Entertainment when it expires in January. JYP Entertainment did issue a statement clarifying the other 2PM members still have lots of time on their contracts. They have staggered schedules with their contracts, so the only member who is officially leaving JYP at this moment is him. V has broken some Instagram world records, with fastest to reach 1 million followers and then 10 million. BTS's SoFi Stadium show officially raked in over $33 million for those 4 shows and sold over 200,000 tickets. And BTS just broke Taylor Swift's record and are now the artist with the most weeks spent at number 1 on the Billboard Digital Song Sales chart. It's been 46 weeks. Not consecutive weeks, but still a huge deal. And member Jimin's song Promise is officially the first song to ever surpass 300 million streams on SoundCloud. Reaching 40 million views, Jessie with Cold Blooded. 50 million, Hyuna and Dawn's Ping Pong. 60 million, Jessie What Type of X. 100 million, Come Back Home by 21, and Treasure with Boy, their first to ever reach 100 million. 200 million on Blackpink's Forever Young dance practice video, and Alcohol Free by Twice. 300 million views reached on Stay by Blackpink. I honestly still think that's one of their best songs, and not enough people agree. That was the longest it took. So now officially all of their title track videos have 300 million views or more. Stay was the last straggler of the bunch. 400 million views reached on Heartshaker by Twice and Monster by EXO. And 1.1 billion views on Mic Drop by BTS featuring Steve Aoki. Mino's new album topped iTunes in 14 regions. The new ATEEZ album topped charts in 23 regions. NCT's new album surpassed 1.7 million stock pre-orders and topped iTunes in 30 international regions. IVE's debut song 11 made history, becoming the most sold debut song for a K-pop girl group in week 1. In its first week, the song 11 sold over 152,000 copies. TXT's Chaotic Wonderland just got certified gold in Japan. Lisa became the first female K-pop soloist to enter the Billboard Pop Radio Airplay chart. Miku just surpassed 2 million YouTube subscribers. We stan. Taeyeon's Long Flight video, At Long Last, surpassed 20 million views. And his SoundCloud track, Dark Clouds, is officially the most commented on song on the platform this year. My last big announcement for you, just your PSA of the week. And today it's about what you can do to support victims of some vicious, unexpected tornadoes that hit my state of Illinois. Very fortunately, not super close to me, but still in the state, and other Midwest states, just vicious, history-making tornadoes just whipped through. So if you want to help, there are a lot of officially GoFundMe verified fundraisers. On GoFundMe, you can see a section saying how to help those affected by the Kentucky tornado outbreak. It was mostly in Kentucky, but other states too. But the eye of the storm was in Kentucky. So you can also donate to Team Western Kentucky's Tornado Relief Fund at secure.kentucky.gov. If those funds seem to be just full by the time this episode comes out, or fundraisers just expired, they will still need long-term support. Supply drop-offs, toy drives. If you're able to, there are other ways besides actual just donations to do so. That is all for me for today. Thank you all for listening to this last big news roundup of the year, and I'll talk to you all again before you know it. Bye everyone.